Yo guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Broadcast Podcast. Sitting on the sofa with me today is a couple from... You're from Kent?
Yeah.
Kent? Where are you from, Jake?
I'm from Burnley.
Burnley. So Burnley and Kent, we've got Mads and Jake together. They're now new in the music industry. They've got a big dancing background and their social media seems to be popping. So I brought them onto the sofa. And guys, welcome to the Broadcast Podcast.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Welcome, Maddie.
No, thank you.
Right, so guys, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Jake, I'm 27, and primarily I dance, but I also write music as well, and I love performing, just all around, just musical, do you know what I mean? Love the music.
You're in a band.
And I was in a band as well.
He's in a band?
Yeah. Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, I didn't know when we'd come to that, I thought maybe we could jump that in later. I was in a boy band off the back of X Factor.
Oh yeah.
So I joined when I was about 18 and I was in that for 2 years, but I joined as a choreographer at the beginning. Like I was on this agency and I was like just trying to like push for work and stuff, and then I got a call from the agency that I applied for saying, do you want to join a boy band, like just X Factor, like it's big, they've got press and got music, so they got to like judges' houses on X Factor, and then I went to meet them for the day. And then they were just like singing a song, harmonising. They literally kicked someone out that day, and they was like, "We're bringing him in." So I didn't even know. I was like, as the choreographer, just like you teaching music. Yeah. And I just got literally scouted on that day just to like do it. And then like over the next 6 months from that, we was just like non-stop touring and school tours, like studio sessions. I mean, we got the music done first, but it was all like so fast, and then we was just like straight out on the road 2 years in my life, which was huge because before that I was just dancing. So it was just
that's like when your music kind of like popped off, innit?
Yeah, and then that was like my first like introduction to being an artist as a musician as well, which is what I've always wanted to do.
What's made you now want to do it solo rather than doing all the boy band stuff still?
I mean, don't get me wrong, like I loved the experience, like they were all great people. Like it was managed by Nigel Martin Smith as well. He was the previous manager for Take That, so obviously they were like huge success.
Yeah, knew what they were doing.
He was trying to like emulate it, and you know, in which we had an amazing time doing. You know, so like I just thought after that kind of came to a halt, he put so much money into us, and we'd literally done everything to like try and get our music out there and stuff, and we had good reception, we had a lot of people interested, but we weren't getting a return like financially as much. That's
what it's about.
Yeah, because our funds like came to an end as like individuals in the band, like so we were just like you know, we need to do something about this. So they decided to break the band down into a 3-piece and go on The Voice.
Right.
And I was like, I wasn't the strongest singer at the time.
Is dancing more your thing rather than...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I've seen that.
Thank
you. He is a very good dancer.
So that was always like my thing. So I was like, I'm going to step back because this is The Voice.
Yeah.
So I stepped back, I took a step back, and even I don't know how much you can say, but like the producers on the show were like, because you've not been on X Factor, we want to get you in. Like you should, you know, we want to get you in the 3-piece, we'll put you in the middle.
Kind of thing.
And then, you know, we rehearsed for it and stuff, did some music that we were going to perform on the show. And then I was just like, you know, maybe we should try the lead singer of the band instead. And we put Kian in there instead of myself. So it was Kian, Joel and Sonny. And then me and Lewis, who were the other 2 members, like kind of stepped back, and then it just got, you know, fizzled down into like a 3-piece. And then me and Lewis were just like, you know, that was it for us. That was literally it. Yeah. So we was like with these boys like every day. They were like we were tight, you know, we were cool, and we had a lot of things going on together. A lot of history as well, because it was so fast paced, and then it was just like, whoom, I'm back at my mum's house. Do you know what I mean? I'm like back at my mum's house, like, so.
It's hard, like, coming down from that, isn't it? Like when you're on such a high, and then like you're suddenly just not doing it anymore. Yeah. That's definitely like.
How old was you when that whole Voice thing happened?
21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21.
It's quite a while ago.
Yeah. I just turned 19 when I joined the band, and then like 21 when I left. So
Cool.
Turning 22. So yeah.
When you got like when you've departed from that, so when it's gone from a 5 down to a 3, like obviously you not being involved with that anymore, did that have a big effect on your confidence? Like your self-confidence?
Yeah, man, 100%.
Did it put a halt onto what you wanted to do, or did it just make you want to do it even more?
I mean, it did, but I went back to what I knew, which was performing and dance, and like music and dance teaching.
Yeah.
But I had this audience that were like waiting to see something, you know, like something like musical. Like I had all these like fans.
Such expectations.
Yeah, so many expectations. Like and I was just like, you know what, like I'm gonna do what I'm efficient at, and I can be consistent at this time.
Yeah.
So obviously my engagement went down a lot. A lot of people were like, oh well, he's not a music artist anymore because he's just dancing again.
It's crazy,
do you know what I mean?
isn't it? People like switch up so fast. That's like the hard thing, definitely.
So that was like a big kick in the teeth to like just deal with. But I'm not. I don't blame anyone. You know, I blame myself. Like, you know, you got to get back up and keep moving. And that's when I started doing TikTok. Moved out of my mum's house, you know, for like personal reasons. I was like, I just need to go. And just started doing TikTok every day and like teaching for the money coming in.
That's where it's at, like TikTok. Like when you're a performer, if you've got something to deliver and like a gift and whatever, like definitely put it up on that because it gets you so much exposure.
Yeah, 100%.
It's taken over social media, isn't it?
Oh my god, like a crazy amount. It used to be Instagram.
But it used to be Twitter. Like Twitter used to pop differently, but then it went to Instagram, and now obviously Instagram's still popping, but now everyone knows if you need to make it somewhere in life, then jump into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like people make more money sat in their bedroom than what people working a 9 to 5 do.
Exactly, it's crazy.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Mads?
I'm Maddie, but my stage name is Maddalena, so like that's why you'll see it on my Instagram, it's like Maddalena. I've just released a single recently,
I saw that.
I'm loving it at the moment. I feel like a pop star at the moment. It's called Boys. So like my kind of like process of writing the song was quite a quick one, to be fair. I come up with the song in literally like 20 minutes.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, like no joke. What? Like 20 minutes I wrote the song in my bedroom, and it kind of come from like, so it's obviously like one of the lyrics is like, when you're all alone, make your heart feel blunt and all that kind of thing. And it's about like boys that put you first and like don't put you on the back burner, or like just general, like not even just boys, like people in general that like want to see you win and like want to see you thrive and like are there for you. I think that it's really important in like a relationship, definitely now I'm like with Jake, to like be there for each other, because obviously we do the same thing. And we've definitely had our challenges, and like people have tried putting us in competition a lot.
With each other?
Yeah, with each other.
Really?
Like, it's a crazy
I mean, maybe
thing.
not I don't know, you never
Not
really know some people's intentions, but
you don't know.
and then it does, and then it's like, because we do the same thing, like we do the
As in
same
what though,
thing,
like
so.
trying to, who's elevating more than the other person?
Yeah, like...
Rather than who, like elevating as a duo, like people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, you know, we've wrote music together and stuff, and like ultimately in the industry they will try to like, you know, kind of just, it's your own lane type thing, and we're like, we're quite organic. We just want to like, when it feels right, just do it and put it out there. It's worth like, if you've created art, like share it with the world, you know what I mean, like when you can. But obviously like, you know, some producers or like or whoever it might be,
like
might have a different vision. So it's just like, you know what, like sometimes you got to take things from them people and go, you know what, like they might be right, but then at the same time don't be disheartened because you're on a different path than I am.
That's like what we had to kind of overcome as a couple together. So that's where I kind of got like all my lyrics and all my kind of thing from when I wrote Boys.
Was Boys based on Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually.
Yeah, you feel the type of way.
In a positive light, because I remember even, you know, like you won't mind me saying this, but like I've been in relationships before where maybe people aren't as supportive as they could be, and they don't necessarily want to see you succeed. And with him, I've had nothing but support, and vice versa. And I think that that's the most like healthy way to be, is support each other. And even if it means like you're not doing something at the time, you still got to be there for that person.
Yeah.
And that's what made me kind of write that song, get inspired by that song. And I've kind of just wanted to put out like a good message with the song. Like have people around you that are like good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think nowadays, especially with like relationships and stuff, obviously because of the society back in like the olden times, it was all about the men like making money for their families and that. But some boys still go through that routine of what it was like in the past. So as a boy, if your girlfriend's out there and she's doing songs and like she's in like the events that you're doing, getting clout on Instagram, getting attention from other boys on Instagram, some boys don't like that. So that's probably why they don't want to support their missus doing what they want to do, because they'd rather their missus just be at home chilling and not in that public life.
Definitely. And like with Jake, like he gets it as well. Like he'll get like girls that'll be like, oh my god, Jake Donlan. Do you know what I mean? Like because you were in a band.
Nowhere near as much.
You know what I mean? Because you were in a band and stuff. You still do have that fan base. And obviously, like we all have, like collectively have a fan base, however big or small it may be. And I just think like that's what you've kind of got to accept if you're in like a relationship that you're both doing the same thing. Because if you don't, it just gets toxic.
And then you know, we're all humans. We all have challenges. We all like have moments of like insecurities or whatever. And it's just like we've just got to be open with each other about things, and then like look at it from both of our perspectives and go, you know what, it's probably not as bad as it seems. And you know, to make something of yourself, like you got to have attention from people. And I think it's like for me, it's like not getting overindulged in that. You know, because like I did a lot of like live streaming. I know Maddie has as well. She's done loads like fashion based stuff. And, like, you know,
I did
lifestyle.
like more the modelling side.
On what?
On
like,
live streaming, you know,
what,
like
TikTok lives? And stuff?
TikTok lives. Like I used to do like modelling for like the collabs and or just stuff like that, like all the kind of brands, like sporty, whatever it may be. But you did like your music on there, didn't you?
Yeah, because that was kind of leading off what you were saying earlier. Like when I wanted to start writing music again, I was like, how all these contacts that I'd made from the band were kind of like, and they were like expensive. Like I didn't have that sort of cash to be just like, you know
when
what?
you've just got out of something, you're like wanting to build as well.
Like I was performing like corporate events, like as a dancer, and just doing like modelling and stuff like here and there. And obviously like TikTok Live pays a little bit now. If people support you on there, then that can pay well. You know, but then I like got like heavily invested in that because I was like, you know, it's working for me.
And it's easy as well.
Yeah, it's easy as well.
So easy because you can work around it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was always like, you know, I gained great relationships on there. You gain relationships on there that expect a lot from you in return sometimes, and it's like then it starts to get to a point
like
where
if you're giving advice and like you're trying to spread a good message, it's also good to like not let people get too overindulged in it because then they're like energy vampires. You know, like when they expect a lot off of you.
Yeah, because Maddie'd always say to me like be careful because like when I met you, you seemed like you were a little bit vulnerable to people like latching on leeches, you know, like leeching onto you like for good energy. And I was like, I understand that, like I get it, and like it affected me as a person and like how my efficiency in what I do. So
and if it affects you, then you know that it's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
So like now I've got like a pretty healthy distance from it. You know, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying anything's bad in like if you abuse it, and like that's kind of what I was doing because I was like, you know, I want my music out there, I want this out there. You know, I've got want this like community of people. So then there's like a flip side of it as well, and it's just the balance,
like be in touch with like reality as well.
Yeah, it's just
you know
like
what I mean?
finding
And like come off your phone and like do things with your family and like it's just healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
So obviously you've just brought out Boys. Obviously you just said there that you've started writing music together. Is that gonna come out? Like are people gonna start hearing that?
Yeah,
like,
definitely. 100%. Well, this is like our plan. So obviously he's got his single out already. I know he's planning to get another one now. I've got my one out. So once mine's released and like I'm shooting the video literally this coming Sunday.
Oh, what music video?
Yeah.
Cool.
So like I'm really he's actually like, you know, he's the star in it.
The lead role.
He's the lead role in it. Obviously, if I wrote the song about him, it's got to be.
Yeah, no, I appreciate.
Appreciate
the feature.
Obviously, you're gonna be singing it, and then is there gonna be like a montage of like you Is it?
Yeah, it's gonna be like, so we've got like a house, like my friend, he like rents out houses for like music videos and stuff, so it's like a wicked place, isn't it? And then we've got another guy who's going to be in the music video as well. It's actually one of his friends, Rio. So like he's a really cool guy. He's a dancer as well. Yeah, it's kind of going to be like the two perspectives of like two
like a bad.
Yeah. So like, and then obviously in the end I end up with you, the good guy.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Man. No, that's good.
No, but it'll be a good video. There's going to be like dancing in it, and obviously we're going to be like just good vibes, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, we've choreographed like a little bit as well. We're working together on that.
Oh, what, dancing together as well?
Yeah, we dance together like all the time as well. So
yeah, we've got to play to our strengths in it, and so I'm like, if I can bring something to that, you know, to the production, then I will. And obviously, you know, Maddie's sick as well at dancing. She's.
It is. I can't lie. Yeah. Obviously, when you performed it the other day at that event, I was like, it's well catchy. Like,
thank you.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. But even like I was listening to both of your music, when I'm in the car and stuff. Like even Callum will tell you, when I get guests on, I familiarise myself with their stuff.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Because like I have to, like I want to be engaged with it. And like if they ask me questions about it, I can answer it. But please tell me why I'm on the way to London and I'm singing about boys. You know what I mean? Like,
so you know it's a good song, isn't it?
Yeah. But why? Like, why am I singing about boys on the way to London?
I don't know, hun. But that's good though. That's a great thing. Because I remember like when I first performed it. I mean, well, I like showed it to your mum and like both of our families, and then I started like hearing them singing it around the house, and I was like, that's it. That's when you know that it's. That's when you know it's gonna like hopefully do well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
even yours, like when I had a shower earlier, I had it on, and then.
Did you?
Yeah, in my Instagram story earlier when I took a picture in the mirror, like yours is actually on the Instagram app.
Yeah, I put it on. Yeah, I made sure I could get it on.
So that my Instagram story earlier, like your music is the Instagram story behind it.
Love that.
But I do. Like,
I appreciate the promotion because
you're good,
I was like 100% independent. You know, it took me about a year to get that song out, and I'd wrote so many.
Oh, it takes so long.
You know.
What is the process of it then? Like how, like from the very start, is it like you get in the studio and you do it, and then what comes after that? Like,
so basically, like you pick who you're, I suppose, like going to work with producer-wise. So you'll have like a producer who like does the beat and engineer kind of thing, who like engineer it for you, and then you come up with that kind of thing. But usually you would have already written your song.
Yeah.
So then you
so you can bring your half.
You can bring your half. They're ready. Send it over to them. And then obviously like that's the quick part is like recording it, singing it, doing all of that. But the hard part is like finding out who's like going to distribute it. Because there's so many platforms, isn't there? Like DistroKid, like Horus, so many like different distribution kind of things. But it's about doing it on your own. Money as well. Like it's tough. Like
how much? Obviously you don't have to say it. But how much are these people asking for if you was to like put out a single and things like that?
Even like PR kind of thing. Like for me, I've had to put like a couple of grand towards like towards like my PR, and that's just on PR.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So
I did it like, I mean, mine was such a long process. Like I did it the cheapest way possible, but also like in working with people that saw my potential. So I wasn't just going, oh, they're lit, I'm gonna pay them so much money. Like I was like, you know, start from people who actually like believe in your shit. They're gonna take time on it. So like I produced it with a friend that I knew from school, who just does it on the side, like just part time.
Yeah, but he's good though.
Yeah, he's sick. But like he didn't have too much. I'd say like he hasn't done much of that. You know, he's a sick producer, but he's not worked with like many artists, and like I wanted to try and like get him to be doing it full time.
Yeah, he was so good.
But also he's got a job that he likes as well, and he's living out in New Zealand now, I think, as well. So like he went off the map for a bit, and I was like messaging him like, I need to get more music out there. And I realised that wasn't going to happen because he'd moved, and he was like focusing on other things, like trying to find his peace in all of this. So I was like, cool, like sweet. So I then found someone on TikTok Live who then same thing, like saw my potential, and he was like, I think you're cool, I think you write about positive things that need to be addressed, And he did it literally for next to nothing. He mixed and mastered my single that I wrote, recorded with Johnny, you know, my friend, and you know, got it out there for me. He just told me where to go, but I did everything in terms of like the distribution, and it's long. It's long though.
It's good that you've done it like all
but I probably got all that done for about less than 200 quid.
Really?
Getting the song out there, £200.
But then that's a good thing though. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously mine was more, but I wanted to like do it in the way of having a lot of PR. Like, do you know what I mean? In the back of
That's
me.
where I didn't push it all. I was like, you know what? I've got TikTok. I've got a good following. People want to hear it. I'm gonna push it out on there. But I was like, oh, I can do a dance video.
That's the world, isn't it?
What else am I gonna do?
Stuff.
Like, I did dance videos. You know, that did well. Like, you know, it pushed a few hundred.
Yeah, we worked on your dance.
No, it pushed a few like 1,000 views, maybe like 20k views on there.
But still,
good
that's
engagement.
good though for like a post that's your own sound.
Yeah. Because like people knew me from dance on TikTok, so I was like, I'm gonna dance to my song on TikTok. But then I kind of hit a thing when it like, where am I gonna go from there? You know, so it was like if I had professional pub PR, you know, like an agent or someone to like help guide, and then I got overwhelmed, so I was like, I need to.
Whoa.
I was like, I'm stepping back again.
Yeah.
I can't be my own manager for like in every aspect of things.
My producer, he like when I kind of first worked with him, I was quite starstruck, to be fair, because he's like worked with really amazing people.
Yeah.
So I was obviously really humbled and grateful to work with him. It was like amazing working with him, and hopefully I'll work with him like in the future and stuff. But he's like worked with like Wiz Khalifa, like
really,
some major.
He's called Shay.
He's
sick.
some major people, and to be fair, like it's about like the relationship you build, and we built a good relationship where like he understood my sound and vice versa. So that's why it kind of worked. I think that's the most important thing, like, is about developing like a good relationship.
Yeah.
And as long as they understand like where you want to go with it and see your vision, that's the main thing, isn't it? So.
How did this event come along the other day?
My event.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Do you know
That
what?
actually looked really nice. I can't lie.
thank
It
you.
did look really good.
Yeah, great people as well.
Oh my god, the people are just beautiful. Like, genuinely beautiful souls, beautiful on the outside as well. But they were just so supportive, and that was what was so nice. So, I actually filmed for The Only Way is Essex. I was doing like extra kind of acting work behind,
in the
like
background.
A model stood kind of thing.
Yeah.
Model stand. And I basically like got chatting to this really lovely lady who was also like an actress on there and stuff. And she was like, oh my god, like, you're a singer, because obviously I talked to her about that, and I was like, yeah. She was like, oh my god, I need to put you in touch with this like really cool guy who's like works for a magazine, I can't promise anything, but send your stuff over to him
And I'll see what I can do.
and we'll see what we can do. And then he, like, luckily, and obviously I was grateful about that as well, got back in touch with me and was like, oh my god, like, we must have you at our event. And then I was like, oh my god, like, yeah. And then he was like, amazing. And then after the one that I just did, he then booked me again on one for the Gherkin in London.
So you performing boys at the Gherkin in London
as well, yeah.
Get to know.
Yeah, and get to know. Yeah.
It's perfect timing.
That is perfect timing. And he's dancing with me as well.
Yeah, I got like a little dance segment to do, just like this.
What, at the same event?
Yeah, at the same event.
I can't lie, there's one dance video that like steps out for me, and I watch it quite a lot. Do you know the video you sent me? It's like you're not at a prom. I don't know if it's a wedding.
Oh, the wedding video.
But you're on stage, and I can't lie, that like I know
it's
nothing
like
about
a catchy
dancing.
kind of
yeah,
dance.
but I'm a boxer. I know nothing about dancing. But that little, like, I think it's like 5-6 seconds clip. You've done like a little dance with one of your pals, and it looks so clean.
Yeah.
And it's like every time I watch the video now, I wait for that.
Yeah. Andrew is my boy.
So
Andrew.
what was that event? Because you was on stage suited and booted, and it just looked good.
Wicked.
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was probably about 4 years ago, and I was doing catwalks for a wedding. They were called Bliss Weddings, and they'd be bride and groom's outfits, like for weddings and stuff, and we choreographed and performed there for like six years. Maybe once or twice a year we did it, but it's not happening anymore. So like the last one I did was probably just over 12 months ago. which I miss because I love doing that as well.
It's like sad it stopped.
But yeah. I met some of my friends, like great friends. I met some of them people on that gig, and that was just through an agency called Pink Mustard, which again, you know, I rate them highly. They're amazing, and they're also based in London. So now I'm down here with Maddie a lot. I'm here. I'm in London.
Obviously he's from like Manning, so like it's hard like when you're in a relationship as well, like the distance thing, and obviously we want to work together. He's kind of like moved down to where I am, and we're trying to like bring his life down to London.
Would you obviously, because London's like the capital city of England, would you say like it's easier to do what you do within your jobs within London? Like, is there more contacts there in London rather than
so many more?
Because it's not like Manchester's a tiny place.
No,
it's still a well-known place.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. There's like great people that have got a lot of talent and a lot of knowledge in the industry and stuff as well. But I think your ratio might be higher for like getting paid as well.
We have like the West End and stuff. Like all the West End shows and like the big musicals and like so many videos are shot down here that it's like there is a lot more contacts wise down here, which is why I was like, you need to come down here. And obviously I went to Italia Conti and that was in London, and like everything, literally there was like every performing arts school around that kind of grid area. And we all used to get together and it was good vibes, and that's why I kind of like wanted him to be down in London so he could like meet new people, network. Yeah. It's just a good thing really, do you know what I mean?
Is that your plan, and you thinking about coming down there full time?
100%. Yeah. Because I've had a few gigs down here now as well, like with agencies, whether it's dance or modelling.
They always seem to be here now.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So, and you know, it pays better, like, and I found myself up north doing a lot of exposure work, and which is, I never knock exposure work because it's always, you can never know what can come for it, but there's a time when you've got to be like, you know what, like, I'm good at what I do. And like, I've worked hard. I'm not saying it goes to your head. I'm saying like you know how much work you put in to be where you are.
And you want to elevate like as high as possible.
And you want to elevate as high as possible, exactly.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
work with people that are gonna, kind of elevate that, and not just in it for one benefit, like to elevate what they're doing. It's like, you know, if we can work together,
as long as like it's both a beneficial thing on both parties. That's when it works.
Yeah. So
So we'll get on to, obviously we've covered your dance, covered your music. Obviously the main reason why I brought both of you on here today is because you're together, like you're a couple. So tell everybody that don't know you, obviously when you met, how it come across, because you're originally from Kent in Ashfield and you're up in Burnley. So,
I know.
Do you know what I mean? That's not normal. That's not a normal thing in society, but it's clearly worked because you're both here today. So tell us, how's that one done?
We were doing TikTok. We were both doing the same thing, and like we were on. He used to do like TikTok lives. He still does them, but like you teach and like you're doing loads of other things now, like shooting and whatever. He was doing TikTok lives like full time at the time, and I was on TikTok, and obviously I love creating content and stuff like that on that platform. And I was having a little scroll, and he came up, and to be fair, even though I was like, he's good looking, obviously, it wasn't anything to do with that. It was like what he was preaching, and he was like talking about all really positive things.
Like what?
Like just saying like about growing as a person, and like if anyone knocks you, like you've got to keep going, and all that kind of stuff that's like really big, like with mental health and like how you come out of a band, but then you've got to like keep growing from it and don't let it like defeat you, like just keep, you know,
kind of live the life that's gonna lead you to where
and also
you need
everything
to be.
happens for a reason. That's like one of the biggest things that me and Jake will preach, is like there's always a reason for something. There's always like light at the end of the tunnel. Even if it's bad at that time, it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad all the time. Do you know what I mean? So
because like before I met obviously yourself, and then I was doing that on TikTok, like I was quite like, I wouldn't say I'm inward, but you know when people just have their confidence knocked and your mojo just like
Go from
No,
it's extrovert to introvert.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm all
So-
about like bringing that out.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
like people thrive.
Yeah,
But
big
yeah,
time.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But I
When-
just saw how different people will treat you when you like start going. My head's in the game. Do you know what I mean? Like people treat
For
you
real.
like different. Some people get intimidated by the energy and the light and the positive attitude towards what you're doing, especially like in a small town.
Yeah.
But then you kind of see.
Right, so guys, if you could send a message to your old self and maybe the viewers at home that might be struggling, maybe want to get into the same industry as you two are, then what would you say to them?
I would definitely say that even though it's a tough industry and there's a lot of challenges that will come, never stop, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel and good things always come to those who work hard. So keep going.
I like that.
Thank
It's
you.
good. Mine's like short and sweet, I guess. I've thought 6 words, yeah?
You're
6
on
words,
it.
exactly. I'm going to count on my fingers. So I always say, one thing that is like the unknown, like keep it real, always,
Yeah.
and believe in yourself. You know, because if you're real with people, that's 6 words. Did you know?
Like sat there like
Yeah, so quick maths.
quick maths.
Yeah, like probably my best advice would be to, because not only are you talented at things, like you've also got a voice, you've also got
Everyone's
a
good at
personality as well. So like keep it real, like always keep it
Keep
be
it
real with
100.
people. You know, use your experiences and help, guide, and you know,
Stay humble.
stay humble.
Yeah, and obviously like with our relationship, we kind of like decided, obviously because you were up in Burnley and I was down in London, we kind of decided to like meet somewhere. And then he was like, oh, like I'll come down to London, and that's kind of like and that was literally a week in, wasn't it?
Yeah. And my first week I got booked on a job, so I was like, it's London, so I was like, I can actually do it.
Come
Like,
down and see
so a
you.
lot of the time I
Yeah.
had to turn down work from London because I couldn't get there on time and stuff.
Yeah.
Because being in the middle of nowhere, where I live, in the sticks,
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out
yeah.
to Colne. Yeah, no one's heard of it, but my
No
hometown.
one's heard of it. Pick it up, put it on the map.
Yeah. So it was just hard
And it was
to
like,
do that sort of stuff, but then obviously when I met you, it was just like, just seems more convenient because we both do the same thing.
yeah,
Both help each other out.
yeah.
And I could stay with you as well. So.
Oh, cheers. Am I convenient?
I mean, in the industry, a lot of people, like when you do jobs, if you're working primarily on your own and you're employed on your own, unless you're with like a group of people,
Yeah.
it's hard to like do jobs that require the full day. Because I don't want to be going to London and going all the way home
Yeah, it
in the
takes
same
5
day
hours. It's
after
crazy.
doing dance or doing, so
Yeah.
it's
If
so
you're going by train.
so then I was like, yeah, like I could definitely work more in London as well, like when like now we're together,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
which sunk in later on, and I stepped back from live streaming a lot and just focused
Which
on
I think was really good for you.
How long
Yeah.
how long have you two been together now?
We're coming up to a year now.
almost
Coming
a
up
year.
to a year.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Is it hard, like, obviously, like, I'll put my hands up, yeah? So I've been single for, like, 2 years now,
Yeah.
because of stuff that happened with my ex and stuff.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I could never do long-distance relationship.
No.
I don't know what it is. Like, even when I go on holiday with my family and my girlfriend's at home, like, it bugs me.
miss them,
Yeah,
yeah.
it bugs me big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But obviously, for me, I don't know whether it's how I've been brought up or maybe seeing my mum and dad or
Yeah.
maybe relationships I've been in the past. But I'm a very, like, I like the attention. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Like if I'm
100%.
sat watching a film at night time on my own,
You wanna-
I'd rather that company be there.
100%. I'm the
So
same.
I don't think I could do that long distance. So
No.
how have you managed
No.
to do that for so
We
long?
literally didn't do long distance.
Oh, right.
Like
No.
that is literally how it works.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I ended up in like a way falling for you quicker, because you were like really committed to coming to see me, and like he'd see me like every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which for me, obviously I respected if he couldn't,
Yeah.
and that was absolutely fine. Like obviously I get the long distance thing, but because you did do that, it was like a
He actually cares.
yeah, and I was like, oh, like that's really sweet. And then obviously I made all the efforts as well to go up and see him, and I love his family as well. So, We're like family, so we kind of like did a thing as well because we're self-employed and we do like TikTok, Instagram. We work with brands. It's easy to like shuffle around.
Yeah.
So it's not like we had to be like, oh, we've got to see each other for a day and then we're back.
No.
Like it was like pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
we could
easy,
just like
wasn't it?
adapt. Like there's a lot of adapting.
Yeah,
going on
loads
at
of
that time. 'Cause
adapting
I was
going
like,
on at
you
that
know what,
time.
we
It's
both
crazy.
both got dreams, we both got aspirations.
Yeah,
you
we're
know, we
like,
both
why
love
not do
each
them
other.
together?
Yeah, and we both love each other, so we've got to like work everything out.
So
together.
so as a couple, obviously there might be people watching that maybe when they're in a relationship together, their girlfriend or partner might have a big following, or they might get like big attention from like the opposite sex and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's quite clear you're both of you are like you're very good looking people. Do you know what I mean?
Thank
Like you are.
And you, man.
Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. But you are a very good looking couple, like individually and together. Like you look good together. And obviously, people on Instagram and stuff, like if they see a good looking person, unfortunately in society nowadays, no one cares anymore. There's no respect.
actually
There's nothing.
No, for real.
It's
like
not.
that
Yeah.
happened to me today. Like no joke. Like, but the thing is that I'm really open with him and honest. Where I'll be like, look, like, and then we giggle about it to each other. Do you know what I mean? But it was like, someone was like, oh, like fancy you, and I aired it obviously because I'm not respectful in that manner. And then he was like, why are you airing me? And I was like, what am I going to say to that? Oh my God, come and be my lover.
bear in mind we was like together in the video that
Yeah,
she
we
posted.
together in
The
the
one,
video.
the broadcast one from today.
No, it was on my Snapchat.
Yeah,
like,
just like watching the game, watching
yeah,
England.
we were watching the
Right.
game.
But
Like,
I was
cozy as a
clearly in
couple.
that video.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and then I was like, yo, look at this, and we were like giggling, and then he was like, why are you airing me? Can I call you tonight? And I was like, I don't even know you like that,
Yeah.
and like, but I think the boundary that's really good is like being open and honest with each other,
100%.
showing each other them
100%.
things,
Yeah.
and being like, this is what's happening, so then you don't think anything bad about
Like, I
it.
definitely, obviously, trusted people a lot more. I was like, you know what, like I trust you a lot more.
Yeah.
And like I respect people a lot more than I did before, in a sense, because I'd been treated in certain ways, and I was like, I don't know if I can really trust anyone, because you know what I mean. Like you know, I'm
You
27
lose
as
trust.
well, so like I've kind of had parts where I've given everything to someone, and then I've seen another side of them because they've not exactly given everything to me, and then it turned me into a bit of a twat. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like keeping things from people. And I went very like kind of self. I was like just off. Not. I've always been like. I'd say like what do you call it? Like an empath. Like I've always cared for people.
Empathetic.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always been like that. But then when it came to doing what I had to do, I was very like tunnel vision, which now we work together and like we see it from both of our perspectives, and like that's just been like a huge blessing
I
for
think
me.
relationships built hugely on trust.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have that,
Yeah.
It's hard though. Like I
It
think
is.
social media has had such
is.
a massive impact on like our generation.
oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
like-
huge.
Yeah.
I honestly think, like, obviously, no disrespect to you two because you're clearly making it work. But this generation as a whole, we are so tapped.
No, legit.
No, we are.
Legit.
It's just selfish. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing. There's just selfishness now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it
you always
is.
want more, or you always want someone better.
Yeah.
Like, you can never settle down. Well,
Yeah.
clearly, some people can.
Yeah.
But as a whole, this generation, I've lost belief in it.
Yeah.
I think that's why people nowadays think like, oh, Kai Ford, like he's so self-centered, loves himself too much, like he's too focused on himself. He's big-headed. He says this about himself.
I
But
definitely don't get that from you.
No, I don't.
really,
No.
a lot of people get that though. But I think the only reason why I'm like that is because when at the time when I was in a relationship and I, like you said, I gave myself to everybody, put my barriers down.
Yeah, you put up a bit of.
And then because that got broken massively, now I'm
Yeah.
like, do you know what? I don't owe nothing to no one anymore.
Nah, legit.
No.
Yeah,
I literally
yeah,
have to
It's like your
focus on
time.
myself.
Yeah. But that's how we got together, because I was just being myself. Like, and
And
I'd,
so was
I'd been
I.
hurt, and
Yeah.
you know, like not just in past relationship, but like also like in my career and where I was, and I was like, you know what? Like I don't
Yeah.
really care what anyone gives
No.
like says about
I'd
me. Like,
been
I couldn't
single
care.
for a year at the time. You'd been single for a while as well, hadn't you? And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, that's why we kind of knew that we were like right at the time.
Yeah.
Because we both had our like journeys of being on our own.
Yeah.
Having that time, because I can solemnly say like, you know, like relationships in the past have just been for me like, I've always been searching for someone who's like there for me and like encouraging me and not trying to bring me down. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And because I'd been on that journey of them being like on my own and being like, right, I've just got to be there for myself now. I've got to turn up for myself. To meet someone who's also in that lane, that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Because like we were both on the same page at the same
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Did you find it, obviously, I know you said it was a long distance relationship, you've not really done long
No,
distance
we
because you
literally
see each other all the time, but
Yeah.
another thing that would stick out for me, if I was in a long term relationship, like they're a long way away, they know different people than I know, so would it be hard to trust someone if they was in that long distance relationship? Maybe not you two solely, but like people in general,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, so say like me and you, right?
Yeah.
We probably know more people,
A lot of people.
together than what you two would have known together,
100%.
because we're both people from Kent.
Yeah.
So if people was to muck around and not be honest
We'd
with each
know
other, we'd know it straight away.
Yeah.
So whereas what I'm trying to get is if it is long distance relationship,
That's
you think
so
it's
true.
more likely for someone to be able to do stuff like that because they don't know the same people.
Well, I'm not going to even lie, and I'm just going to be really humble and just say it. Like, that's definitely something when I first met you that I was like worried about, to be honest with you. Because I think you're bang on the money there that because you don't know the same crowds, you're never going to find out if someone's done you wrong or like, because you hear about it like through the grapevine. I'm not saying that you would do that, but on the other hand, like you don't know someone until, I always say you don't know someone until like you've been with them, you've been through the bad times, you've been through the good times, you've been through everything.
Yeah,
and I think like we were only together for a while then. And I think that was one of my worries, to be fair. Not knowing the same crowds, not knowing the same people. It's like, oh God, like what's he getting up to, kind of thing. But then I think that is like a natural thing in a relationship, and you were the same with me.
But then that also gives you a chance to like see people for like who they are as well.
And I always
you know
think
what I mean?
if someone's
like,
going to do something, they're going to do it.
They'll do it
Let them do it. Let them do it, and they're not the one for you.
That's like a huge thing, probably crossing over into social media, why it's so hard into like, you know, if they're going to do something, just let them do it. Like you don't have to be over their shoulder looking at everything they're doing.
No.
You know, like
because then they're just not right. Then it's not. Yeah. It's not for you.
Because it's just like it's kind of like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for me, and like as a performer and yourself as well, like you need to have control over like your emotions, because if you take them on stage, like you take them anywhere, you ain't gonna come off.
Perform the best of your ability.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, unless you write a banging song from it or whatever. Like emotions are all.
You get something out of it.
You know, like, but yeah, like I'm big on like Bruce Lee and like, you know, all that stuff, like martial arts and like being calm rather than chaos, like calm over chaos all day.
Yeah.
Like, and in order for that, you've got to like have recognize your emotions, like your negative ones, and react to them positively, like as much as you can.
Yeah, take your like accountability.
So that was like a big thing that I was like, you know, we didn't even see it coming being together, but I was like, if I'm gonna be with someone, like that's
just happened naturally.
Yeah, I really wasn't out looking for it at the time. In fact, at that time, I was like, I don't want anything to do with anyone.
Self-focused time.
Self-focused, that is it. And I think like I always said to myself, if I'm gonna get myself involved with anyone again, it's just gonna come naturally, out of nowhere, and that is it. Do you know what I mean? And it did.
Yeah.
So that's nice, man.
And I came on.
That's nice.
And then you came.
And now you've made a song about him.
And
so
now I've made a song about him, and like and the good boys and the bad boys.
Oh, actually, I don't have a. You were saying this the other day. Like, you need to write a song about me now.
I was like, excuse me.
And I'm like, I do. I was like, so much pressure. Like,
where's my song?
Like that needs to happen naturally.
You've got a song that you sing to me.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
Yeah. But I wrote songs about a woman that I wanted when I was single. But then I look at our relationship now and I'm like, that does relate, and I'm always like, they're about you anyway. And then she's like, no, because you didn't write it when you're with me. I was like, doesn't count. Well,
you know what you gotta do now.
Yeah. Sorry, like, where's the song at?
Yeah. But you know, all good things to come, and you know, still get all that material out there.
Yeah.
Like, Maddie's wrote loads of music. I've wrote loads of music, and just a case of like working out the, you call it like the political side of it to get it all out there.
But
we're working
the
on
fundamentals
it,
and stuff, like everything that goes behind it, working hard, like music
networking.
videos, networking,
which is something I didn't do a lot of after the band.
and I'm like
network.
Like when he was at the event, like with me, and obviously I sang. He was like, I was like, you need to come with me because you need to just network. Like that's genuinely what it's about, and I want to see you do well. So I'm like, come, get
Yeah.
networking, and then the next day we were both in a magazine.
Yeah.
Networking is massive.
So like I was like, you see,
It's huge.
like yeah, for real.
Yeah, a little bit of press can
The
go a
Beat,
long way.
what was
so.
it? The Beat magazine.
Yeah,
It's
the
about,
Beat
like,
magazine.
music
Exactly, and I've
artists.
not had press since I was like in the boy band. Even though I released my single and stuff, like I wasn't networking. I was on TikTok Live, sat in my front room, in
Yeah,
a small
like,
town,
come out.
and I was like, I couldn't really go anywhere to
No.
like, you know, like, I just didn't have that going on. I didn't have that lifestyle at the time. So, but I knew how important it was. So now it's like it's a win-win for us both because you know if I get invited to something, if Maddie gets invited to something,
Then it's networking.
Yeah.
we're networking together and we're
100%,
plugging that.
I think nowadays as well, like obviously I know that I was saying that society, like it's tapped, but I think couples who actually work together and are out there in the public eye, they do well.
100%.
Like if you're following, like what you said, you follow each other's dreams, you follow each other's passions and stuff. I think people of social media, like they love couples.
Yeah.
Tommy Fury, Molly May.
100%.
Like, I know obviously they've been on Love Island and stuff, but when couples are actually thriving and doing stuff together,
And they look like aesthetically pleasing.
yes, yeah,
all that
exactly.
kind of thing.
You do well together,
Yeah.
and like what Maddie said, yeah, it probably was a good thing that you did come to do the networking
Yeah.
stuff because when you sat at home on TikTok Live, you're only out there to that specific amount of people,
yeah, exactly.
which is people just sat on their phone watching you. But these
Yeah.
people at events, this is what they do for a job.
Exactly.
This is
facts,
what projects they've got in the future and things like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's like with my music video as well. Like I wasn't just like, oh my god, yeah, get my boyfriend in it because he's my boyfriend. It's like as well. I know that he's a wicked dancer and you're great and you are.
And I do the same for you. Anyway.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Yeah,
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah.
But also it's like the exposure for him, and
Yeah.
like I know that if we get that material, then he can use it wherever he wants.
Yeah.
It'll go on platforms, and then people could be like that see it on my audience can be like, oh my god, like he's a wicked dancer. Like let's put him in our video. That's what I want. Like because it's just like a cycle in it, like dominoes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Obviously, a big thing about the Broadcast podcast, like we want to be different to other podcasts.
Yeah.
Like with the conversation we had earlier, there's a lot of podcasts out there nowadays that talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
They just talk about, I don't know, sex within society,
Yeah.
topics within society that's in the news and stuff. But I have a very strong thing, yeah. So all these people go around and they say they're influencers, but like most people say they're influencers, but what are you actually influencing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I have this like view of like everyone is an influencer. If you're on social media putting something out, and especially if
You're
you've got a platform,
naturally
you are an
influencing
influencer.
people.
Like people,
Exactly.
the amount of time that people spend on their phone. That's why I did TikToks. I was like, I just see people scrolling. Like you're being influenced by everything you see, and that's why your feed is like orchestrated to what you want to see. What you
100%.
And
You have
so
that
that's-
one. You have that one bad week when you're like looking at sad videos, and then all of a sudden
Like,
your whole feed's like that.
Yeah,
Suddenly,
exactly.
like everything's like about like couple. Like I've had an argument with him, and like everything's like he left you because of this. I'm like, God, it literally listens to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
It's so funny. It does make me laugh.
But yeah, so like obviously the whole point of the Broadcast podcast, like we're trying to influence a big thing in society nowadays, which is mental health.
Yeah.
Obviously with mental health with us youngsters and people of this generation, I don't think the older generation realise how much actual stress and stuff that us guys are under.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like life's changed. Like even like
Hugely.
moving out and getting a house together now, like it's impossible. There's a lot of stresses on the younger
So
generation
difficult.
to do well.
we still got to get there as
Yeah,
well.
we
innit?
still
Yeah.
got to get there collectively together. I think, like you say, it is harder, and like things have gone up, like cost of living, you know, crazy stuff. And I think it is harder, and the older generation don't necessarily tend to understand that. I'm lucky in the sense, and so are you, that we've got parents, and I'm sure like on your hand,
100%.
that are like really supportive and be like there for us, and be like we're there with whatever you need, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I've always wanted to like help my mum out. You know what I mean? My
Yeah,
family.
and
Like, I've
vice
always been like
versa,
trying to do
definitely.
just put them on, like you know that like the
100%.
kind
Like
of
whatever I
breaking the
make
mold.
out of my song, like I'm definitely gonna be like giving some to my mum and dad because they put a lot in. Like when I was going to school and like all my family, to be honest, like Italia Conti.
It's
like,
expensive.
It's
man.
expensive.
Yeah, I know it is. Big
Like
time.
I was really like grateful enough to get a scholarship there. If I didn't, there is no way I would have been able to go. Like it was crazy money, but it was something I'd never regret doing. Like I absolutely adored that school more than anything. But my mum and dad helped me out so much there. Without them, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
And that's why in the future, like you say, I want to pay them back in whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Whether that be a house, whether that be a trip that they want to go on, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Anything like that I want to do.
But I think like, as well as like the old generation not understanding, so obviously a whole part of mental health, especially my mental health, was my journey from secondary school to like 18, 19.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've watched the documentary, but I went through a thing of like, I had death threats. I had people getting paid money to come to a nightclub and make sure that I didn't come home to mum and dad. Like, it got to a point where it was terrible. But I think the older generation don't realise with social media, when you're at school, especially like young viewers today, when they're getting like bullied and stuff at school, they go home, but there's no escape, because then that bullying and the hate is on your phone. It's on social media. It's on like cyberbullying and things like that. So I think the older generation just need to realise that mental health is out there. We all struggle with it. Some people might struggle more than others. And that's sort of why we're influencing within this podcast to talk about mental health. So you two come across to me as a couple that, like, you're doing well for yourself, you're both happy, you're both quite clearly in love with each other, but have you had them bad times?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
I think like we get them often.
Yeah.
I think like I certainly get them often as well, and I think that's why I started like studying myself and like how I can be more positive and how like I can react, because I think like you are your experience, you are your own experiences in this life. So it's like, if you can be better, I'm not saying like, because everyone's not everyone, but a lot of people out here trying to be perfect. Like you ain't gonna be happy. No. You ain't ever gonna be happy if you're trying to be perfect. Like, you gotta just be better. You've got to just be happy with giving your best effort to whatever it is to build your own, like, you know, self-confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah. Like
how you handle situations and stuff. And like, I grew up with you know, with kind of like hostile situations as well, like with my loved ones and stuff, and like people were very reactive and things like that, you know, and I don't want to speak too much on it, but you know, when someone's had an experience and it's hurt them, and then they're like quite violent, or like, you know, quite like they react violently to things, and I'm just like, that is like a lack of control, and like a way that they're trying to find a way out through like being violent, you know what I mean? Like, and I've created dance pieces on this before as well, and like, I've tried expressing it through my art, and like, you know, if I was reacting like that to everything, I wouldn't be where I am. Like, I wouldn't even be sat here with you. You probably wouldn't be sat here with me. You know what I mean? And like, well, you wouldn't be here either. So we'd all be like, you know, kind of like not trying. You know, and I think that's so important, man. Like, and I've, you know, people can like kind of make you feel small for not reacting violently, or like, oh, well, you're not a big man, like, you know, and I'm like, well, nah, because I actually do think it's bigger to like find an alternative,
walk away,
and that's harder to do.
Definitely.
So it's like, especially because we're both in media and we're both like express our passions through social media.
People always will try to get involved.
People always try and get involved.
Have you had people try to interfere with your relationship, like fake accounts and things like that?
Yeah.
I could imagine you probably
I can solemnly say I definitely have on my end.
Yeah.
On like,
I mean, and kind of with yours, not as much, but like with your ex as well, and like ex-boyfriends and stuff, and people like, because they were that was
it's actually crazy,
because that was public as well.
Yeah,
so
my
that is like
relationship was like quite public.
Yeah.
In the way of, I'm never gonna like say anything bad about him or whatever, because you have your good and your bad times with everyone.
Of course you do. Yeah.
But you know, it was hard because we ended it civilly, and then people like took it in their own stride to take it out of context and things out of context, and people try and get involved in little stories and this and that when they know nothing, because unless you're in the relationship you don't know anything. And that's what I think I'll always like preach. Definitely, it's like, it's not who's around you, and like, unless you're a fly on the wall, you're not going to know anything. Do you know what I mean?
People are so nosy nowadays, though.
So nosy.
They want to know everything.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
Everything.
But we've had like stuff on. We've had stuff on like live where people are like, "Oh, like, have you seen Maddie? Like, she's with this da 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 da," and I'm like, with him, and I'm like, "Are you joking me? Like, what are you trying to do?" And to be honest, like, I've never been that way anyway. I've always been a girl that's like quite self to myself.
Yeah, me too.
No one knows nothing about me in that way. They never will, because
but I think that's healthy. That's healthy for people. Like, that's good, because like if you're trying to get, you know, like get information on everyone else's life, like when
you're not living your own.
When are you gonna focus on your own, and like what's the energy you're putting out to people? Like, do you know what I mean? And that's the big thing. A big thing, which is hard to do. And that's one of the things, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to do it.
And obviously those have caused us to argue ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, we always come back stronger, which is why you need those things, because they test you. Even though I don't think you should really be tested, I think they do naturally.
Yeah.
And I think like everything does happen for a reason. And we've come back stronger, but it obviously did take a toll on us a lot. But it's about like, if you can come back from it. Do you know what I mean? And
would you say like downfalls in your relationship have been down to other people rather than just down to actions that both of you two have done?
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And has that ever actually caused you to have?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
That's mad how much society can have an influence on,
definitely.
on a
Not
couple.
not
even strangers, like people might not even know you, but they have that impact on you because of how they act.
Yeah, and I mean, like I might have not met anyone in like on social media in my life, but they might have watched me that many times that they actually think that they know me, and I'm like, I've got nothing against like, you know, kind of growth on social media and making positive relationships with people and stuff, but like you never really know someone like that, you know, and I think it's so
just keep to your own business.
Yeah, keep to your own business, because you know,
stay in your own lane, do up your own life.
Because it gets messy like that, and I always think like I'm quite old fashioned, even though like
same, 100%.
like even though I dance and I'm on camera and stuff, like I'm just doing what makes me feel good, and like scrolling all day, commenting on people's shit, like unless I'm supporting someone, like that's gonna not affect me positively, because I'm just kind of wasting.
If you put out negative, then it's only gonna affect you too.
I don't understand why people do it.
Nah, I don't.
Like even, obviously, I'd say us in the room right now, we're three people that are probably very confident within ourselves, confident within our appearance and stuff. But obviously, there's some people out there that aren't confident within that. So I don't understand why there's people out there that would just put a hatred comment on some. Like, what do they achieve?
Because you never know.
What do you achieve from that? What do you achieve from making up a fake story about, I don't know, Mads was in a nightclub and I saw her with some boy the other day, but it's not true. Like, what are you achieving?
I don't know what they're achieving. I think it's jealousy.
I mean, as deep as you want to take it, like I think it's their own insecurities,
like,
their own experience in life, that they're like trying to make something better by making a situation seem it's ruining something that they see as good. That might not have worked for them or something, you know. I think that's
green with envy.
That's mad.
That's what it is. It's like envious, and like as much as I'm not saying that in a way of like, oh, you should be envious of me. Not at all. I'm not like that. But people do have it, and I think like if you're in a relationship where say you've like had a previous relationships and people want to be with you and that, and maybe they've not got to that place with you, then they just find a reason to like delve and like try and ruin what you've got. I think it's sad, because I just think you should just live your own life, and if that wasn't right for you, it wasn't right for you.
It's like the same with like I don't know what that was.
What the fuck was that?
But yeah, it's like same with like art and in general, like, you know, being artistic or something. I don't know if you like art. I mean, anything artistic.
Can't lie, bro. I just punch people for a living.
Yeah. But there's an art to that.
That's me.
There's an art to that.
There's
an art to that, and I just think like, you know, when you're doing that's gonna piss someone off. Someone's gonna get annoyed by that. You know, it's like, and sometimes might not feel like you're having the recognition that you deserve from the work you've put in, and you're like, why aren't people liking that? And I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just doing what I enjoy doing. You know, and that's a big thing with, you know, social media in itself, and like just in the world. I think it's better when you're on stage and you're performing, or if you're in the ring and you're actually in your fight, or whatever. But you know, when people see you trying to get somewhere, they have a choice whether they're like,
support it.
Oh, it might be good, but I don't know if I want to support them because maybe I wanted to do. Or you know, and I think they're the people you need to come together with, the ones that actually put their pride or ego aside or whatever it is that's stopping them from supporting and just
actually just allow them to do
and allow
what
them
they
to
want.
do what they want to
Also,
do.
when you do something good, I'm going to actually say this and say it out loud. When you do something good and when you're succeeding, you always know who your true friends are when they're there to support you, because you always realise who you're honestly. I solemnly can say I noticed that. I had more strangers.
About to say that.
Would you?
Why is it always that
More
strangers
support me than my actual friends?
Yeah,
and like my mum would be like, oh, your best friend or whoever it may be, like someone I've known for years and years, hasn't even commented or hasn't even double tapped it. I mean, but seen it, and you can see them looking at your stories, and it's just like, really? Like, I know for a fact that I'd be the first person to be there for them, and I just think people's true colours come out.
Yeah, they do, 100%.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm not being funny, right? Obviously, I've known Mads for a long time, yeah. I think the day that we were on voice note to each other, I think you uploaded like a video or a picture, I liked it, commented and shared on it straight away.
Yeah,
and I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's so nice.
the
I
difference.
wish
That's the difference in people.
I actually wish more people were like that. I 100% can say I'm like that.
Like
I'm like that with girls, lads, whatever.
Yeah, first impressions count on social media as well.
100%.
Like,
I don't understand. I don't know if people maybe are jealous because other people may be elevating more than they are, and they don't really have the willpower to get in that position. But the worst thing is the people that you're giving hate to, like say like us lot, if they were doing well, like we want to see them do well. So I don't understand why it's not shared. So I'll bring back to the first point that you said. Obviously, when you was in the boy band, and obviously you went from a 5 to a 3, did that have a massive impact on your mental health? Right, so obviously I'll go back to when your boy band went from a 5 to a 3.
Yeah.
And obviously you weren't involved with that no more.
Yeah.
Obviously being a man within society back then and even now, did that have a big impact on you? Did it have a big impact on your self-confidence? Like what position did that put you in?
Yeah, 100%. I think the people that saw that the most were my family, so I've got nothing but love, especially for my mum, because I live with my mum primarily, and my dad and mum broke up. And they've both been just as supportive, but I was living with my mum, so I was like, she was going through her own things as well, like as a single mum does, and there's just me and my younger brother. And I've always been like, it ain't gonna come if you don't work for it. I've always been like, you gotta have your money coming in. I come from like a working town where everyone's like trades work, engineering. My first job I was an apprentice engineer. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I've always been hands-on, practical, like get the work done, and whatever. So I went back to kind of like the maddest thing for an artist is when you've had that experience and like some form of success is to like try and find balance between making money, not being lazy, and not coming across like you're being lazy just because you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge thing for me, because I was like, Mum, like I'm gonna work hard to make sure I get where I want to be, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna get where I want to be if I'm working all my hours at one job.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've always tried to find something flexible.
You have to, otherwise you're just gonna be stuck at 9 to 5 for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And like there's a place for everyone to work, their job. There's whatever's meant to be will be. But I think if you really want it, that's why, people might take it for granted to see someone who's achieved something for themselves and go, you know what, like they've had to think about that and put it into play, rather than just like, oh, I've just walked in here and now I'm here and I'm getting paid this and I've got this opportunity. It's like there's more reason why people actually make an impact and have that.
Did you ever think it was game over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think, now obviously I've had that downfall, like now I'm just going to get a 9 to 5, because at the end of the day, you have to live out it, you have to survive.
Yeah.
If you haven't got money behind you,
what?
You can't achieve nothing. So it gets to a time where obviously your lifetime goals may not be working out for you, and now you need to think, right, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, I want to be able to look after my mum and dad when they're ill and stuff. Like, I need money behind me.
Yeah,
100%.
So at that point, was you like, okay, game over now, I need to do my 9 to 5, or did you still have that belief in yourself that fuck this, like I'm gonna make this my own and I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, I can say I never really gave up.
Yeah.
But I did think about it a lot.
Yeah.
So it was like people were saying, oh, maybe you should just do this or just do that, and I'm like I know,
It's
like,
about not listening to that.
yeah, it's about what's like, as corny as it is, like, I've got a tattoo on my neck that's like a love heart in a battery, and it's like, that for me is like a symbol of like, not just being around the people you love and like, like doing what you love and like putting, because you ain't gonna shine if you hate what you're doing. Like, if someone's on stage singing, like, they don't hate being there, they love being there. That's why they're there, you know, because they've fought them demons to get there.
Put everything into it.
You know what I mean? It's like I would hate a life going against what I already know and what I love doing. I wouldn't be happy, and I probably would hate people, and I would probably try and bring other people down because
you've not been able to do that yourself.
Yeah, and even though I'm 27, I still have them days. Like, even now, I have them a lot, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should just. Maybe I'd be having more money in my pocket if I was, you know, if I was doing a different job, a 9 to 5. But then I think, would I be happy? No, I wouldn't. And will I ever know what's going to come if I carry on? No, I wouldn't.
But then you have to also look at like how far you've come from like when I met you to now. Like, you're in a much more comfortable position with like your financials and like you're doing what you love more. Yeah. And that's like, even though, you know, you might not be where you want to be right now. It's about like, as long as you're taking a step forward each day.
Yeah, and even like being here is a huge step forward as well.
Really?
You know, things like this, yeah, man.
Yeah, like just being able to like express. Do you know what I mean?
Because like there's a thing where it's like every artist needs a platform. You know, like 100%. You can't be like all about you for your life. You can't. You're never going to grow that way. You know, there's always going to be something missing, and it's like, you know, obviously I learned that being in a relationship with you and being around other people that shared similar like passions or like ambitions. Obviously, you've got to have ambition to start a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have some vision. You've got to have, you know, people behind the camera. You've got to have like
they're just as
a structure. It's all like pieces of the puzzle. So this, to me, is like a new relationship as well with us.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So.
You know, one more person watching your podcast, one more person playing our music, one more person knowing.
And it all matters.
So 100%.
I didn't think about it like that, but it's true.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah,
it is true.
Perspective in it.
But yeah, so thank you, man, and thank you to you as well.
Appreciate it.
I love having you on. Finally got to meet both of you.
Yeah.
So guys, that's been episode 3 of the Broadcast Podcast. There's plenty more stuff to come. There's plenty more hard work to do. And just sit back and enjoy.
One time for the boys in the back there. When you're all alone, they on aim for attack, yeah. One time for the boys in the back singing I love you, I do.